Hello to all of my viewers, and first of all I want to say thank you to all of my loyal viewers on the Match Point, and this episode is exclusively for all of you. And especially one more thing I want to say, a part of the Happy Independence Day and the Eid Mubarak to all of you, the one who are from the Pakistan, all of our viewers, we welcome you for the change. तब्दीली आनी रही, तब्दीली आ गई है. And before we go towards the headlines and the start of the show, first of all I want to say you that, ladies and gentlemen, it's a time to welcome someone on the platform. It's a time to welcome 65th Test cricketer from the Pakistan. From the Pakistan in the Test, cap number 65, 13th Test captain from the Pakistan. First and the only one in the history of Pakistan to lift the Cricket World Cup, and the 22nd Prime Minister of Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Imran Ahmed Niazi, whom we say and we know with Imran Khan, the cricket captain and the World Cup winning captain and the new Prime Minister of the Pakistan. So we wish him good luck for all the reforms which he is aiming for the Naya Pakistan, and for all the reforms which he is aiming, and he is interested to bring a change for the Pakistan. And we hope we will go and we will build in a long way, we will build some new nation and the new Pakistan. So all the best for his efforts, and all the best and we wish him good luck for all, and we pray that he may achieve whatever he is willing and he is thinking to make Pakistan once again great on all the platforms. So anyways, with the start of the program, I want to give you some news, and the biggest headline which we want to give you is regarding India versus England, the biggest series which is going on and the most interesting series right now which is happening around the cricketing circuit is India versus England, as India take on England in England. So this is the Indian tour, and the Indian team, as you know, is playing after a long while, playing away from the home, and the previous experience when they were playing against South Africa was not good. So we will see that what happens next when still 2 matches to go, and I will give you the details in the show that what's going on. So up till 3 matches right now, I want to tell you that in the third match, India has beaten England in the third match to keep the series alive. This win was India's third test win, only third test win outside Asia and outside Caribbean. So what I say, they have played 28 matches and they have lost 19 matches while drawing 6 and winning only 3. So a big way for the India, but it's the time for the recall. And who got the recall? If you remember, I guess that 2 months before we did a show and we told you about the Prithvi Shaw, the World Cup winning captain, under 19 World Cup winning captain. So Prithvi Shaw and Hanuma Vidar had got the Indian call for the last 2 tests, and who got axed up we will tell you further in the program. From the wonder boy to the under 19 cricket World Cup winner to a test cricketer in the waiting, great day for the Prithvi. Prithvi has come a long way in the few years. The 18-year-old captain India to the under 19 cricket World Cup title in the February was a part of the Indian A squad, and now he is going to become a part of the Indian team in the upcoming test, which will be the last 2 tests for the team India. But before that, I also want to tell you that he is the part of the Delhi Daredevils during the IPL, the current season which he was playing. The next headline is for the Sarfaraz Ahmed, the Champions Trophy winning captain of Pakistan. Pakistan is away from the news because Pakistan has yet to open the season for the Pakistan team, but the Sarfaraz Ahmed is celebrating the Eid. And one more thing he has told when he was asked, a quite funny thing, he was asked that if he would have been given a chance to work in the Bollywood movie, which Bollywood movie and which style he will be working, and Sarfraz Ahmed told, smiling, that he will be willing to do a role of Salman Khan. He will be wanting to do the act like a Salman Khan, and the movie should be some Dabangg style. And he said that if he would have been offered, he would be doing the Dabangg of Salman Khan in the Bollywood. And he was asked later on that whom he want, the actress who should have been as a counterpart in his film, and he told Katrina Kaif should be the one who should be in the lead role with Sarfraz Ahmed. Sarfraz जी, ये बातें अच्छी नहीं है, आपको भी घर भी जाना है. बहरहाल जी, news is also from across the border today. All the news are related to the India, so my Indian fans would be very happy to knowing. But the next news is very interesting, and that news is regarding Navjot Singh Sidhu. Navjot Singh Sidhu is a living legend and a star of the Indian team, the opening batsman of the Indian team, the destroyer of the dreams of Pakistan during the 1996 Bangalore quarter-final match, where Navjot Singh Sidhu smashed Pakistan in the Bangalore match around the boundary lines, making the 91 and ultimately dethroned Pakistan's 1992 World Cup winning title into the clouds of Chinnaswamy Stadium in the Bangalore, and the whole of the Pakistan went into the agony. But this time was the times have been different. Time has lapsed and the things have been shaped differently. Navjot Singh Sidhu has came across the border to greet Pakistani people and greet the old mate and the old time friends Imran Khan on his invitation for the oath ceremony of the 22nd Prime Minister of the Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan. And Navjot Singh Sidhu, Kapil Dev, Amir Khan and Sunil Gavaskar was offered, and they were invited on this ceremony, but the Sidhu was the one who took this brave step, and he came to greet Pakistan people, and he won the hearts of Pakistan people. No doubt Sidhu was famous around Pakistan when the last time when Pakistan team came to the India, and when the Pakistan team came to the India and then the Indian team came to the Pakistan, Sidhu was the part of that series. I mean, Sidhu was when the Indian team last seen in the Pakistan, spotted during the 2004 series when the Rahul Dravid's Indian team beat Pakistan first ever time in the Pakistan. Sidhu was the part of the 10 sports team, and I was having a chance at that time to remain with Navjot Singh Sidhu. And one thing I want to tell you, that Navjot Singh Sidhu is a gem of a human being. I came to know during that series, he was immediately along with us. He was a part of the 10 sports, and we had a tremendous time to chat with Sidhu and taking his reviews. And he is a part of the cricketer and a part of being a politician. He is a great ambassador of India, and he is a great cricketer. And this time again he said that he needs to bridge the distance between the two nations. He wants to take these steps, and he wants other politicians to take the step to make Pakistan and India well together on the same note. And he did a magnificent job. A part of this, he has been thrashed around the country and from the opponents in the India, and that was very disgraceful and something beyond beneath humanity which I have seen, and that to burning his effigies and like this, it was very shameful and indeed very disgraceful. And if I some words in the headline, I just want to generally I want to say, as Sidhu ji are representing our Sikh population and the Sikh brothers from the India, and believe me that is a part of the Sidhu. If generally we see even around the Middle East, around the Canada, around the America, around the globe, they are the tremendous human beings. Why to go a million miles away? If I see myself, and I may tell you that daily I am dealing around with 50 to 60 of such population, and they are gem of a persons, the great human beings, down to earth and great ambassadors. Daily in my home, if I come out to my lawns, if I see my neighbors, they are the same personality and they are the same population. I am not the home and they are working around my lawns, they are taking care of my flower beds, they are taking care of the kids. So they are gem of a human being around the globe. So this was the great step, and we should condemn such wordings from the opposition and from lot of lawmakers which we have heard about Sidhu ji, and God bless him and may he come again to the Pakistan. The next major news from the cricketing point of view is for the chairman of the Pakistan Cricket Board, and right now the head of the cricket board. Chairman election is soon gonna happen, but Najam Sethi has been removed from his role. Ehsan Mani, who was previously the president of the ICC during the tenure of 2003 to 2006, has won the eyes of the new PM Imran Khan, and he is now currently the new most likely chairman of the Pakistan Cricket Board. Najam Sethi has resigned some hours before he was dismissed from his seat, and a very hilarious tweet coming from the Najam Sethi, and he told that I was amazed that why I was not removed from the seat, because he guessed and he did believe that before taking the oath, the first thing Imran Khan need to remove, he will remove me. This statement came from the Najam Sethi, but anyhow, some of the good works we need to remember, and we will also not forget Najam Sethi did a great job for bringing cricket back to the Pakistan, the World 11 tour to the Pakistan, Sri Lankan tour to the Pakistan, and of course one of the brands which he has made for the Pakistan Super League, PSL, was one of the brands which he made in his tenure, was one of the biggest achievements. And of course he was working right now on the India-Pakistan series, and we were thinking that soon he will be establishing the relationship and the bridge, and he convinced the BCCI for some neutral venue series for 2 to 3 years. So we will see that how it will proceed further. And congratulations to the Pakistan football team. One of the rare news to become one of my headlines, but this is one of the important news, that in the Asian football games happening in the Indonesia, Pakistan football team has beaten Nepal 2-1, and this happened after 44 years. Wow, believe me, after 44 years Pakistan team has achieved the victory, and they have beaten Nepal in the Group D match in Indonesia. The other news is also from the Pakistan, the major headline, Nasir Jamshed, one of the star openers of the Pakistan, the ex-opener who came to the limelight in 2013 tour of Pakistan to the India for the 3 ODIs, when 2 times he grabbed man of the match by making 2 centuries in a row back to back, and making a vital role in the Pakistan's victory. But so sad that he was involved in the match fixing, and right now the verdict of the court has come, and he is banned for the 10 years by the PCB Anti-Corruption Tribunal for the spot fixing, ensuring for betting, failing to disclose offers of money, accepting offers to bribe, and consenting to corruption. So encouraging other players. So he is right now banned for the international cricket for the 10 upcoming years. Next news is also from the cricket, and that is from Afghanistan. Afghanistan team playing a very important matches nowadays and beating their opponents like anything, as they are playing cricket like 100 years. Hats off to them. Brilliant cricket by the Afghanistan. Sometimes they are beating Scotland, sometimes beating Ireland, and even beating West Indies. Mohammad Shahzad, who is a wicket-keeper batsman from the Afghanistan, a big name from the Afghanistan, he became the first ever player in the history of Afghanistan to achieve the 1000 runs target in the limited over matches, and he is the first one to touch the magic figure for the Afghanistan. So this is it from the headlines, and we have to start the show. But before we start the show, I will have to take a short break, and we will be right back. You are watching Match Point with Dr. Adnan. Welcome back after the break, and we are discussing the Indian tour of England. As I told you that India will take on England in the test matches after the ODI series, and the very important test matches and the very interesting test matches we are seeing, where India is lagging behind England, but still there is a chance in the series, and series is yet alive. So before we start up, I just want to tell you regarding Anderson, the most wicket taker from the England and the leading wicket taker. It was the contest before the series. We have declared that this will be a contest between Virat Kohli and James Anderson, and it will be going to be a hell lot of a contest, and believe me that we have enjoyed this contest. But apart of this, there was another important news regarding the Adil Rashid, the spinner who is a very playing a vital role along with Moeen Ahmed in the England cricket team. But it was very important that he has played 10 test matches for England, 5 in India, 3 in Bangladesh, 2 in UAE, but he was yet to open his magic in England. So it was the very first ever series for him. And then if I go further, Murali Vijay was given the chance in the first game. Very interesting decision, because Cheteshwar Pujara was not in the game for the India to open, and along with the Dhawan, his other partner was Murali Vijay. And if I go upon the interesting fact that where is Cheteshwar Pujara, and India in test with Cheteshwar Pujara and without Cheteshwar Pujara. With Cheteshwar Pujara is winning 59.60% of the test, 58 tests, 33 wins, 12 lost and 12 draws. While without Cheteshwar Pujara, this is very interesting that the wins are only 26.09%, 23 tests, 6 wins, 10 losses and 7 draws. So that was the time to describe the importance of Pujara, and that's why Murali Vijay is currently out of the Indian team. Pujara was in, and now the Prithvi has got the test call and the maiden call of his lifetime for the Indian team. Sam Curran was given the cap from the English camp. Sam Curran is the one who was given the cap for the 20 years and 59 days, is the second youngest England player to appear in the match for the England against India. The youngest one is Haseeb Ahmed, was the one who did the debut in the Rajkot, as I told you in the previous show. At that time, Haseeb in the Rajkot, he was 19 years and 297 days in November 2016. England, while making the summary what happened in the first match in the Birmingham, which is the den of the England, we used to say that Edgbaston, the castle for the English team to trap the Asian nations. England made 287 and 180 runs, and small target for the India, and we were hoping for a big chase for the big man, but unfortunately it couldn't happen. India making 274 and 162, England winning finally by the 31 runs. The small margin. Edgbaston test starts with Kohli, continues with Kohli and ends with Kohli. Such brilliance, such dominance. Take a bow for Virat Kohli, the living legend Virat Kohli, the skipper of the Indian team. All his efforts went into vain when India lost by the small tiny margin of 31 runs. Kohli in tests in England, if I say interesting, 2014 if I pick 134 runs in 10 innings, and now in 2018 149 runs in 1 innings. As I'm talking about the Virat Kohli's brilliance, I just want to tell you the brilliance and the conversion rates for the 50s to the 100s in the test. Overall in the cricket, that is the leading man is the Don Bradman, the Aussies great, with a 69.04%, 2900s and 1350, and then Virat Kohli on the second spot. Anytime he can cross the legend Don Bradman, he is on 57.89% with the 2200s and 1650. Down the list, if I see another Indian legend, Mohammad Azharuddin with 51.16% with the 2200s and the 2150s, and then Michael Clark, Hayden and Yunus Khan at 50.90, 50.85 and 50.75%. All the top class legends are above 50%. In case you don't know, a gentle reminder for all of you guys that, as I told you in the beginning, that no Asian team has ever won the match in Edgbaston, including the Pakistan cricket team, who is fond of beating England in their dens, but usually in the London. Whenever Pakistan is going away from the London, Pakistan is not successful against England. So most balls, if I say, was faced by the Indian captain, as we are talking about the Virat Kohli versus England in a test match. He comes on the third list with nearly 400 balls now, 398 balls, but he will surely go ahead of his counterparts, because top of the line is the Nawab Khan Patodi, who was in the Leeds playing in 1967 versus England, and he has played 554 balls against England. And second on the list is Sourav Ganguly, the winning captain of the India at the Nottingham. He played Nottingham 2002. He has played 308 balls. In the second innings, India needing 194 runs to chase, a small target to chase of the 194, and highest successful runs to chase at the Edgbaston was 283 for 5 at Edgbaston by South Africa back in 2008. And then by the England in 1999, 211 for 3, and the third one was 157 for 3 by West Indies by 1991, when the great King Alexander Vivian Richard was chasing the match. And these are the success histories. And the highest fourth innings total at Edgbaston, if I want to tell you, was also 283 for 5 South Africa. They won the match at 2008. 279 Australia in 2005, but in the losing cause they lost the match by 2 runs. This is the highest total in the fourth innings. And then India made 277 in the fourth innings in 1967, but Indian team also lost the match by 132 runs. And then in the last, New Zealand made 230 runs in 1990, and they also lost the match by 114. And don't forget that earlier this January, India needed only 208 runs to win the Cape Town Test, and they lost by 72 runs. So it was real challenging task for the Indian team, but I was expecting, because if you go on the frame line of Indian batting lineup, so there is a huge mysterios and pillars of Indian team, and I was very disappointed that how come India missed that. It was quite a challenging factor, but India has chased 190 plus runs only twice outside Asia in the fourth innings. And when was that? Last time they chased the match, it was back in the days of Australia versus India in Adelaide 2003, when Sourav Ganguly, Dravid and Vivian Lakshman was in the team. Only twice 190 plus score has been chased in the Edgbaston, and only once by the visiting team. Otherwise it's only the English team who is chasing the match. And then I go the youngest test centurion for the England, who put the last nail in the Indian coffin at that time during the innings in the Edgbaston, and he was Sam Curran. If I compare with the Dennis Compton was 20 years and 19 days in the 1938, and now in 2018, 20 years and 61 days Sam Curran was in a chance to become a second youngest centurion after Dennis Compton in the 1930s, but unfortunately he fell short of 100, 37 runs short of his 100, but he did his job. He put a pile against the Indian team. Otherwise the total would have been somewhere between 100 and 150, and could have been easily chased by the Virat Kohli's team, but unfortunately the Indian team couldn't do, and Sam Curran was the one who extended this lead for the Indian team in the low match. And the Ben Stokes 4 wickets, and James Anderson and Broad taking the 2 wickets each on the score lineup. Edgbaston Test is the 17th by the Asian side at this venue. So far 12 losses, 4 draws from the previous 16. Would you believe it never happened at any venue that Asian teams went past after the 16 defeats? So we were expecting that this will also be the one when the 17th defeat will not happen, and they will break the myth, because Asian teams, whenever playing around Sri Lanka, India and Pakistan at the one venue, the maximum defeats went up to the tally of 16. In the 17th, one of these 3 teams were winning the match, as the last time they were winning the match at the Lords and the Kingston Oval. Both are having the 16 wins for the English team without the Asian teams indulging, but both places, Oval and the Lords, eventually the Pakistan team was the one who sneaked in after the 16 matches overall by the Asian teams and then making the 17th match. But this time again England making a new record and the 17th consecutive defeat on this ground for the Asian team. The last time India chased 100 plus in the 4th innings in a test outside Asia was the same what I told about the Vivius Lakshman, Saurav Ganguly and the Dravid, and that was back in the Adelaide versus Australia 2003, and in the 1900 plus chases since then they drew 12 and lost 7. Horrible record while chasing outside Asia, especially in the 4th innings. But this is cricket. India's narrowest margin of defeat was not this. If you remember, as I told you in the last show when I was doing the show with the Indian media manager and the team manager of the Nagpur team, Rajanji, I explained to you and we showed you the glimpse of that historic match of India versus Pakistan at the Bangalore in the 1987. That is still the Imran Khan's Pakistan versus Imran Khan's Pakistan. That is the shortest and the narrowest margin of defeat when Pakistan beat India after nearly 3 decades by the 16 runs at the Bangalore in 1987. That is the shortest margin, and now 31 runs against England in the Birmingham in 2018. And outside the subcontinent, if I go, and very interestingly, that is also the 16 runs by the Bangalore by the Imran Khan's Pakistan team. And outside the subcontinent, if I go, India was beaten in the Brisbane in 1977 and 1978, and interestingly that margin was also 16 runs. And then the 31 runs defeat now at Birmingham in 2018, and the 38 runs at the Adelaide in 91-92, and then in the Bridgetown, Barbados and Brisbane again 38 and 39 runs. 194 is the 3rd lowest target India failed to chase in the test cricket. They failed to chase 120 against West Indies at Bridgetown, Barbados in 1997, and then 166 versus Sri Lanka at Galle in the country of Muralidharan in 2015. They were unable to chase. England win the first match by 31 runs versus India, and no one gave the resistance except the 150 by one and the only skipper Virat Kohli. All efforts by the King Kohli went in vain, but well done Kohli, Virat Kohli, setting the new standards in the international cricket and while chasing in the England by the Indian team, and obviously one of the greats of the modern era cricket and test cricket at its best. Not every team can beat the England in the opening match of the series, because we have not every time the Pakistan in the lineup. In his only 67 test, Kohli has crossed the aggregates of Team India's all-time greats, as you can see in the picture. Take a bow, and Virat Kohli is the first Indian to claim a top spot in the ICC test rankings for the batsman since Sachin Tendulkar in 2011. So there was a very good seesaw. We were seeing Virat Kohli coming up in the ICC rankings, crossing Smith, and then again after the second defeat, again coming down, and the third win, when the India win and making the series 2-1, again Virat went up to the record 936 points, and he vowed at that time that I will be back, and I told you guys that don't take it light. Virat will be back. One of the greatest, Virat Kohli, jets to the #1 test ranking. Highest points achieved by the Indian players in the rankings is 934 by the Kohli in 2018. Previously 1979, Sunil Gavaskar with 916 points, and then Tendulkar in 2002 with 898, and Rahul Dravid in 2005 892. So England is one up. Edgbaston remain unconquered castle for the English guns, and from here when we will come back, we will come and we will start the second test match, that what happened in India versus England. We will take a short break and we will be right back. Welcome back after the break, and you are watching Match Point. So
we were discussing about the Indian tour of England, and time to tell you before we proceed to the second match, the killer factor. So the music is on. Yes, killer factor I will tell you about, obviously, when Indian team is in the England. So I will be telling you some of the killer factor in the England. So what is the killer factor? Len Hutton, one of the English greats, playing in the 1930. He made 364 runs in a test match. In 1930, in the today's date, the game was happening between Australia and England. Len Hutton was the first one to make and to take the English score to the 900. 900 runs were seen on the scoreboard at the English soil who started the cricket. And first ever time in the history, we saw the board clicking on 900, and this was the time when 1930, when first ever time 900 landmark was achieved by any team on the English soil, and this was Len Hutton's England by the virtue of 364, the triple century from the one of the greats. So don't go away. We will have another killer factor, and that killer factor will be bombastic, and that will come at the end. Now time to discuss with you the second match. The second match when India take on England in this away series. Second match was in the home of cricket, and that was the Lords. London. Indian team and left edge western and reached London. London is the home of cricket and home of the cricket, not only the cricket but the Pakistan team, where the luck goes with the Pakistan, as we were discussing that whenever in the past, this decade, whenever we have seen even the decades of 1980s when Imran Khan took them to the Lords, and then 1996 when Wasim Akram took them to the Lords, whenever Pakistan team, Asian teams come into the Lords, England was struggling. So this was the tough task for the England. In the previous last 5 meetings, England have never won against the Asian teams at Lords. 2014, if I go back, versus Sri Lanka, they drew the match. 2014 was the time when they lost against India at West Indies. And then 2016, they drew versus Sri Lanka. In 2016, they lost versus Pakistan. 2018, once again, they lost versus Pakistan. So England really in a chance to break this myth, and England team, the English team, is really in a chance to break this nightmare that they cannot beat the Asian giants in London. Because anyways, I told you previously and I told you on the social media that they should have been relaxing, and they should have relaxed, and they must have relaxed, as men in green, Team Pakistan is this time not around London. It was all domination by the English fast bowlers, 4 each by the James Anderson and the Broad in the first inning, and then later on 5 by the Broad in the second innings, and he was the best performer at the London in the Lords, and this was his best performance in the home of cricket. Oldest English man to claim the 5-wicket haul. This was some very interesting stuff which was against India. James Anderson at the Lords, when he took the 5 wickets, he is at the 36 years and 11 days, but he is still not the oldest, because the oldest is Ray Illingworth, who at the Oval in the 1971, 39 years and the 76 days back in the past in 1970. He was the one, and he was the oldest to perform and to take the 5-wicket haul. James Anderson has now taken 103 wickets from his 23 tests at Lords, including the career best of 7 for 42. But he is yet to have a man of the match in home of the cricket. This was also very interesting that he never able to win the man of the match award in the home of cricket. No resistance came from the Indian camp. As I looked on the scoreboard, India 107 and then only mere 130, and English team playing only 1 innings, 396, the huge total they have posted for the loss of 7 wickets. Ravichandra Ashwin was the one who with a 29 with the 29 in the one innings and the 33 not out, is the first Indian batsman to top score as the 8th slot in the each innings of the test, batting at the number 8 or at the lower level. 6 to do overall is after the top scored Lee German, Guy Whittle, Peter Siddle and the Graham Kramer. At the end, England beat India by an innings and 156 runs. England beat India and most tests before the defeat. I want to tell you, and what I want to tell you, describe something very amazing which I have compiled for you, that Virat Kohli got the taste of defeat after so much time. And if I compare the other Indian greats and the Indian skippers, most tests as a captain before an innings defeat, overall if I go 73 matches Clive Lloyd took before tasting the defeat, and then Graham Smith took 70 games before the defeat, Ricky Ponting 55, Taylor 40, Lester Cook 37, and now the Virat Kohli has seen 36 games without the defeat. In the 37th he got the defeat. And if I go as a captain, most tests as a captain without the defeat, and that was 57 for the Stephen Waugh, the great Aussie captain, and the 50 for the Vivian Richards and Azharuddin 47 and the May 41 in the list. The loss at the Lords, India's first innings defeat under Kohli captaincy, it came into the 37th test. As I told you before, India's first innings defeat was also in the England, but that was at the Oval, not at the Lords, and that was the year back in 2014. Highest career test ratings for the English bowlers, if I go, Sydney Barnes 1914, 932 the career test rating, and then the George Luman 931 in 1896. George Luman, if you remember last year when I was doing the programs, I told you that Yasir Shah was the one in the Misbah's 11 who broke the record and equalized the record of George Luman's back in the 1896. Tony Locke in 1958 at the 912 rating, and Ian Botham with 911 in the 1980s, and then Underwood in 1971 and 907, and then James Anderson with a 903 rating in the 2018 came into the top all-time English grade. James Anderson 99 wickets against the India in the 24 appearances is most by the bowler in India versus England test, and he passed 95 by the Chandrasekhar back in the 80s and 70s, and he's surpassing, but Chandrasekhar was one match less than the James Anderson. But anyhow, now James Anderson has crossed and he has made the magic figure of 100. James Anderson became the first English bowler in the 38 years to hit the coveted 900 mark in the ICC Test rankings, while Virat Kohli lost the number 1 slot, as I told you earlier, after losing this match, and bowlers dismissing 2 batsmen for a pair in a Test innings. Billy O'Reilly versus New Zealand in Wellington back in 1946, and then Jim Laker in 1956 versus Australia in that famous match of 1919 in the Manchester, when Jim Laker bowled Australian time, that was 1956, and then Dale Steyn in the Centurion versus New Zealand at 2007, and now James Anderson versus India in Lords in 2018. Only once Australia beat England 3-2 after losing the first and the second test in 1936 and 1937 Ashes series, and it was Bradman's first series as a captain. $1 million question, and now the Herculean task for the India to salvage the tour, and India's wait for an overseas win getting longer and longer. India beat England now in the third match by 203 runs and winning the third test match. The captain 100 by the captain Virat Kohli, 5-wicket haul for the Jasprit Bumrah, 7 catches for Rishabh Pant, 7 catches for the KL Rahul, and wonderful comeback by the Indian team, and India making 329 and 352 for 7 and declared century by Virat Kohli and 72 by Pujara, who was in in a match and never count him out. As I told you about the Kohli, that he will rise back, and he rose back to lift the Indian nation, and he never quits. The brave man from the India. And I told you their series alive because Kohli is alive, and English team 161 and 317, needing at the day 500 runs nearly to win the match in the Nottingham, and the highest target set by the India versus England was 521 now in the 2018 at Nottingham. Before that, 2007 they set the target in the oval of 500 runs, and 1961 they set the target of 461 at Kolkata. So the Trent Bridge 215, Broad took 5 wickets in 19 balls, while Pandya takes 5 wickets in 29 balls. Quickest 5 wickets haul by the Indians in a test where balls are known, or where we are counting the balls. This is something very interesting, that 27 balls is the lowest which were taken by the Harbhajan Singh versus West Indies in the Kingston in 2006, and then 29 balls taken by Pandya in this Nottingham match to bowl the opposition, and 33 taken by the Maninder Singh versus Pakistan in that famous match in the Bangalore in 1987. So 4 Delhi players were in this match: Dhawan, Kohli, Pant, Ishant Sharma. This test is the joint most by the Indian 11 when 4 Delhi players were coming. Before this, there was one occasion when 4 Delhi players were in a one match, and they were Gautam Gambhir, Virender Sehwag, Kohli and Ishant Sharma versus England, and that was the time it happened in Nagpur, and that was against England in 2012. They played then 7 tests altogether between November 2011 and December 2012. So we will see that these 4 Delhi players how long will be the same in the Indian camp. England have never lost 10 wickets in one session between 1938 and 2016. Today is the 3rd time when they have done it in 2 years in 24 tests, previously versus Bangladesh in Mirpur in 2016, and then versus New Zealand at Auckland in 2018. Now is the 3rd time in the 2 years when they have lost 10 wickets in one session. Amazing bowler by the Indian camp. Rishabh Pant became the India's 36th wicket keeper, second left-handed batsman keeper after Prithvi Patel, and 5th youngest keeper ever in the Indian history to do so. Rishabh Pant now the first Indian wicket keeper and the first Asian wicket keeper to take the 5 catches in an innings on a test debut. India never lost a test match in England after making 300 plus batting first, and their highest total in the losing cause is 293 batting first in Leeds back in 1952 June, and the highest successful run chases in the 4th innings at Trent Bridge, 284 for 6 by England versus New Zealand in 2004. Only one side has won the test match in England while chasing a target of 350 plus runs, and that was Australia 404 for 3 at Leeds in July 1948. If I go to the highest successful chase at the English soil, that was back in the 1896, and that was the first class match, and the highest successful chase, that was 507 for 7, 189.2 overs by the Cambridge University versus MCC in 27th June 1896. And now if I compare from then at the Trent Bridge, Nottingham, where the match has been played on, and India gave the massive target to the English team. If here I go 502 for 6, 140.5 versus Nottinghamshire, June 23, 1925 was the highest total which was chased, and right now the English target is not 502, but the highest target, the English target is 521, which was the daunting task by the English team, and not gonna happen and not easy when Pandya and the associate bowlers were firing the spells on the English team. Kohli has scored now 16 centuries in the test cricket as a captain, third most by the any player, and only Graham Smith 25 and Ricky Ponting 19 have done it more than Virat Kohli in the test runs. Kohli's centuries in the international cricket, if I go, I will tell you some very amazing fact that as a captain in 129 innings, now Kohli has made the 29 centuries, while as a non-captain innings in the 250 innings also he has made 29 centuries. The figure is same whether he is a captain, whether he is a non-captain, and total of 58 centuries, would you believe, in 379 innings. This is, ladies and gentlemen, Virat Kohli, the Indian skipper and the batting maestro, and eventually I believe that the end of his career he will break out every possible record for the every possible batsman which will exist in this cricket. Indian captains to win the Man of the Match award in the test outside Asia, that Kapil Dev 1984-85 in the Adelaide, and then Kapil Dev again in the Lords in the 1986 when he was the defending champion. Tendulkar in the Melbourne Cricket Ground in 1999, and Ganguly in the Brisbane in 2003-04, and then Dravid in Kingston in 2006, and now he's the sixth Indian skipper, Virat Kohli, in the Nottingham, having the Man of the Match in 2018. But I think there was a little bit injustice. If I would have been there, there should be a sharing of the Man of the Match. The one who announced the Man of the Match, there should have been a combined Man of the Match, one for the Virat Kohli, one for the Hardik Pandya, for his brilliant 50 and the fifer he took and put the English team in the trouble in the first inning, and then they never rose back after coming down and not able to make even the 200 figures on this very ground in their home. So I think Hardik Pandya and the Virat Kohli should have shared this, but anyhow, Indian captain was the one at the end who was named Man of the Match. India winning the third test now of the series after losing the two tests. Now they are 2-1, and still India is in a chance to win the series. But when it happened, when India was 2 down and 2-1, and what happened in the past, we will have a look. 1974-75 West Indies versus West Indies, there's a 5 match series. India lost 3-2. 1977-78 versus Australia, again the 5 matches series, and India lost 3-2. 2007-8 versus Australia, there were 4 matches and India came from behind but lost the series 2-1. Versus South Africa in 2017-18, again India lost the series, 3 match series 2-1. So now once again India has been given a daunting task and a chance in the 5 match series. India is 2-1, 1 match down, still 2 to go, and we will see that back to back, if India wins, this will be the first ever time in the history of cricket and history of Indian cricket. Can India sweep English team off in their home ground, and can India take on England like this? This a time will tell, and this is a $1 million question. But now it's a time for me to close the show. But before closing the show, what we do? Killer factor. So killer factor before we close the show. And what is the killer factor? We started the show with the new Prime Minister and with the 65th Test captain, 65th player, cap number 65 from Pakistan, 13th Test captain of the Pakistan, and the first and the only one to win the World Cup for Pakistan. So this killer factor is about Imran Khan, the Pakistan World Cup winning captain, and the new Prime Minister Imran Khan. Make the music up, and I will tell you about Imran Khan, the killer factor. Imran Khan has outstayed and outsmarted former Fijian Prime Minister who became later the President of Fiji Islands, Kamises Mara, who appeared in the 2 first-class games for the Fiji national team versus Otago and Canterbury. Fiji's cricket tour of New Zealand in the 1953 and 54, he was the skipper of the Fiji team, but Fiji team lost the match. Moreover, he has also outsmarted former Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, who apart of becoming the Prime Minister also played at some level, at the FC level or at some national level, who appeared in the one first-class match back in the 1973-74 season for the Pakistan Railways versus PIA, but they lost the game. Interestingly, the British Prime Minister Alec Douglas from October 1963 to October 1964 also appeared in the 10 first-class games, FC games for the Oxford University and MCC from 1924 and 1927. In January 1927, he played in 3 international matches for touring MCC side versus Argentina's national cricket team. So all of these the skippers and all of these prime ministers and the PM for their respective nations have played cricket, but none of them has played the cricket at this much highest level. Imran Khan at the end of the day not only have beaten his cricket opponents, but this time he has beaten his all-time great political opponents, and Imran Khan is the only prime minister in the history of the world who has played the highest level of cricket before becoming the prime minister and the new and the 22nd PM of Pakistan. Imran Khan is the only cricket history, in the sporting history, is the only man in the whole universe to bring a World Cup for his nation and then becoming the PM of his nation. None other of the prime minister in this whole universe before Christ and after Christ has able to achieve this feat. So I hope as he has achieved this feat, Pakistan will see the new depths and the flying colors under his shoulder, and under his captaincy his team will work the same way as the team worked in the Cricket World Cup, and the Pakistan gathering the glories around the globe wherever they went under his captaincy, gathering the glories and he came back with the flying colors, and we wish him good luck from the team match point. Along with my cameraman Shaviz Khan, Dr. Adnan Khan says you goodbye from here till the next episode, when India will take on England and the last 2 test matches would have been played and the series result will be clear. We will come back to Pakistan with we will come back to you on the match point with the same zeal and zest. Till then, take care and bye bye.